there might be some episodes where it might just be me or me and a guest because Ben has a very special life-changing moment that's coming up here pretty soon that I'll let him chat about.
Yeah. Reed and me are adopting.
So here's how we're going to start each episode in 2023, okay? So take your hands and just start rubbing them together. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And that's it.
All right.
Don't you feel ready?
Get it going.
Okay. Alrighty. For the first time of 2023, we are going to give man, when's the last time we posted one of these? Like a year ago?
It's probably the last one we posted was H Creation, I think.
So like 6 months ago,
which was shortly after her wedding, which was like October.
August.
Oh gosh, it was that long ago?
Maybe it was October. Wait. Yeah, August 13th. So it's been a bit. It's been a little bit.
Oh my.
Okay, well, for the first time in 2023, I want to be the first to welcome you back to the Creative Crunch podcast. Yeah, Happy New Year to our listeners and our watchers and our friends. And Happy New Year to Ben.
Yeah, Happy New Year to Reed as well.
Thank you. It's been a good year. How'd you ring in the new year?
Was at a wedding.
Go on. Care to elaborate?
Yeah, wedding is it was actually pretty fitting. It was at the Midnight Gem. Mm-hmm. So I was at midnight on New Year's. I was at the Midnight Gem. What are the odds? How often do people? I guess all weddings stay there probably till around midnight. I feel like having a venue called the Midnight Gem, you have to at least be there at midnight.
Yeah, and you have to provide gems for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Midnight Gem is listening and they want to hire us on their team for good ideas.
All joking aside, it's a pretty great venue. Yeah, it was cool. I remember. I had Brandon. He's another videographer. He was helping me, and I think we were both ready to go home, but we stuck around. And it was cool. They did a huge confetti shoot off with all their guests. I think they had like 100-some cannons. And it was cool. It definitely felt like, you know how in New York, Times Square, how you there's like so much confetti they shoot off. It kind of reminded me of that because there was just confetti everywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was at my wedding too. They had like these stairs in the venue, the Farley Chicago is what it's called, I think. And so all the guests stood behind them, like kind of circled around them, and every single one of them had a confetti popper, like probably 50 to 100 different ones. And counted down the new year from 10, popped it off. Super cool shot. If you want to see it, go check the old Instagram.
Yeah, you should. He said he's gonna make one today, but his flash removal thing, pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So the photographer Teresa, actually, she ended up staying till the end as well, and she wasn't going to. Teresa, if you're listening, okay. So it's dark in there. Obviously, it's midnight. So. And for her to get her shots, she needs to use the flash, which obviously is respectable. You got to do what you got to do to get the shot. But in my footage, every other second was a flash photography from her and her second shooter. So I actually had to do a little post-editing magic to remove the flash. And I think I'm going to make a reel about it just because it actually worked really well. I wasn't expecting it to, and it was pretty relieved with how it did. So make a quick little TikTok or Instagram reel about how I did that so if you're a videographer and dealing with some flash things, then it might help you, or it might not, who knows. But anyway, the banter is done. We're over with the banter. So 2023, it is January 4th of the year 2023. And I know it's cliche, but what happens with a new year is people make some new goals, they make some resolutions, and we think that, yes, it can be, I said cliche already, but I'm going to say it again. Yes, it can be cliche to be like, this is my year, new me kind of thing. But in business and in your personal life, we both believe that it is so important to have goals, to have ambitions, and to try to make this year even better than the last. So I think we're going to touch a little bit on all that kind of stuff. And yeah, what better way to do the first podcast of the year than talking about what we want this year to bring for us. So, Ben, go ahead.
Yeah. So are we talking about podcast goals first?
I think we just hop right into the podcast goals. And I'll have a little intro for that, and then I'll let you talk about it. But so as you notice, if you're a long time listener, watcher, viewer, subscriber, whatever it's called, we are inconsistent as shit. Probably our average is maybe, oh, hi, Opal. For the YouTube or for the listeners, Cat's Ben just hopped up on the desk and made an appearance. But so we're very inconsistent with this podcast. I think we had this idea back in 2020, mid 2020, that we're like, let's start a podcast about all things creative, obviously wedding stuff and blah, 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 just a bunch of different stuff thrown in there. And it started off okay. I think we did couple, like 3 in a row, and then it just fell off, and it was like every 5 months, every 6 months, every 8 months. I don't know the longest we went without doing it. So we want to make it a priority this year to be just a little bit more consistent with our posting. So yeah, go ahead.
I think first of all, for the people that do listen, they won't be quite as like, yo, where are you guys? What's going on? But I think it'll also help us maybe make a better routine, not just around the podcast, but with our day-to-day weekly lives. And I think we'll probably learn more.
Yeah, I completely
keep ourselves accountable more.
I completely agree. I think like you said, if we have more of a routine with this, I don't think it will only help the podcast grow and stuff, but I think it will, like you said, help us be better entrepreneurs, better business owners, because as we've talked a lot about on this podcast before, working from home, working for yourself has some trickiness to it. It's not super easy, like you make your own schedule, you do all this. So routines are super important, which I know I am awful about routine, which is actually one of my other business goals that we can talk about in a little bit. But yeah, we're hoping maybe to push out 3 podcasts a month and just bring on more guests. So I'm sure some months could be 4 podcasts, some could be 3, but the goal is 3 each month.
And Travis, let us know what guests you want.
Yeah, first Travis shout out of 2023 right here, happening right now live on the Creative Crunch podcast. So shout out Travis. But yeah, if you're a listener, I mean, we have ideas for guests and we're kind of open to anything. But if you want to come on and you think you have some sort of creativity in your life, whether it's personal, business, or anything that you think would be cool to hop on and talk about it, please reach out to us. Let us know. You can reach out to either our personal or our business Instagram or Creative Crunch, whatever. But so yeah, the goal, just 3 podcasts a month, maybe 4, and just bring on more guests because you guys seem to enjoy those guest episodes just because they're very interesting.
Yeah, and I think we're not only going to be like, I feel like a lot of our episodes relate to like wedding stuff, but I think it's important to not necessarily just lock ourselves in a box just in the wedding industry. I think it's good to get inspiration from outside the wedding industry. Learn more about different creative fields and how people are creative in theirs, and I think we can bring that back to our own businesses.
Right. And that was absolutely the original idea of this podcast too, is obviously we knew we were going to talk a little bit about weddings here and there just because that's what we do. That's what our life and our business is all about. So obviously that was going to happen. But I think just with our inconsistent scheduling and all of that, it just kind of turned into more of a wedding podcast than what we were really wanting it to be, which is totally fine.
We'll still talk weddings every once in a while.
Right, and probably maybe not
a good chunk of them. I don't know.
A good chunk of them will probably talk about weddings or somehow relate it back to weddings. But the real goal of this podcast in the beginning of 2020 was to bring on people that have creative interests or creative hobbies or other creative jobs outside of the wedding industry or in the wedding industry that we can bring on and just chit chat with, because I think there's a lot of creativity in everything people do, and I don't think everyone realizes that. So it's just kind of cool to shine a light on that. And so I think the only one we've had that's not wedding related was Nick Langle with Orange Cat Brewery. Am I right?
Yeah.
We had Max on, who's a DJ, and we had Eric on, who's a photographer, and we had Hannah and Logan on. Although that was more of from the sense of what it was like having us shoot your wedding, but still wedding nonetheless. But yeah. So that's kind of the plan for the podcast. So expect to be seeing these faces. Ben, do this with me. These faces, that bearded face, this mustached face, and you'll be seeing us more. So hopefully that's the plan. But I'm gonna toss this up to you, Ben. There might be some episodes where it might just be me and a guest, because Ben has a very special life-changing moment that's coming up here pretty soon that I'll let him chat about.
Yeah, Reed and me are adopting. No, me and my wife Lauren are about to have our first child. So we're super excited about that. She's due February 6th, but she honestly could go at any point now. We're both extremely nervous, but also very excited. I think what we're excited about is just this new chapter of our lives, and we've only ever known each other. And I think it's exciting we're kind of forced to learn this new skill of being parents. It's something neither of us really know anything about, and it's something that, as we've been told by multiple people, it's something you just kind of learn as you go. And so I think we're both excited to see that and see each other step into these new roles. Like, I'm excited to see Lauren become a mom and see how she does with that, and just the teamwork that we're hoping to build through this process.
Yeah, that's super, super exciting. And that is right around the corner. You could be a dad tomorrow. I guess you're a dad already, but...
I'm a cat daddy. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, so when your wife is pregnant... Okay, we're going to go a little off topic here. When your wife is pregnant, but the baby's not here yet, you're a dad, right? Obviously, there's a baby.
Gosh, I feel like that's almost like a chicken and an egg question.
Like what came first?
I think it's opinion based, because there's always a chance of I think technically, you're technically dad. You created something. You're technically dad, mom. You created something. There's something living inside this person.
Yeah.
But
so you could just leave it at that and don't.
But from my standpoint, I feel like it hasn't officially hit me yet that I'm gonna be a dad until I'm physically holding this kid and looking at it. Yes, I see that she's pregnant, and I know our time now is limited. We only have less than a month with each other only, but it's still, I don't think it's hit me emotionally until I'm holding this kid. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I'm gonna feel quite like a dad until I have this. Yeah. And I think Lauren feels the same way.
Which is weirder because it's like she's carrying this thing around.
Yeah. Do you feel like an uncle yet?
I have been an uncle since the age of 10, but so yeah.
So you do feel like an uncle?
I'm going to be the cool uncle, the cool single uncle that comes to everything because you guys are my only friends.
Mark Clooney, I worked with him this last weekend. And when I asked him, I said, hey, so he has a couple kids. And I asked him, I said, hey, so do you have any advice for me as I'm about to step into this new role? And he just gave me this just such deep advice. Like, I was not expecting it to be so deep, but he was just like, I can't remember exactly what he said. It was long, but essentially what he was saying was he found that when he could just step away from everything, like when he could step away from work, when he could step away from that and just put all of his attention towards his kids, he could forget about everything. And that's what made him the happiest, is when he could show his love and support to his kids and just not focus on any other problems he has, then that's when he felt the most fulfilled. So, like, talking about, like, backlog and all this stress and stuff, when you can just stop worrying about that and just focus on your kid, then you'll be a lot happier. Yeah. And I was like, man, that was deep.
That is incredibly deep, and I think that was good for you to hear, too, because I feel like you are kind of stressed.
It is.
And for those of you that don't know or just learning that Ben is pregnant, is that what you say?
I'm pregnant.
Ben, or do you say, like, Ben and his wife, Ben and Lauren are pregnant? I'm learning, okay?
I think I'm expecting.
They're expecting. They do not know the sex of the child. So the reason he keeps saying this child or this baby, if you're confused, that is why they are finding out on its birthday. So
yeah, and we've heard multiple people tell us, like, oh, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you not know? And it is, like, Lauren and I are both like, man, we really want to know. But we also are like, I was told one time that there's only so many things in life that you can be as surprised about. And one of those is seeing, like, a bride walk down the aisle rather than doing a first look. You see the person for the first time at the ceremony. Then the other one was finding out the sex of your child. And so I want to, like, me and Lauren did a first look, which was great, but I wanted something that felt very, very raw. Like, I just can't imagine the emotion of finding out the sex of your child at the birth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be a mess probably.
I can't imagine at all. Like, but obviously we're at different times in our lives, but okay. I think that the garbage truck is outside. Do you hear that?
I think I heard a little bit.
Yeah, it's picking up on my audio, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, that's super exciting. I'm excited for you. And yes, I am excited to be an uncle, and I'm excited to hang out with this kid and teach it how to be a cool kid rather than be whatever you were as a child.
I hope you know you're babysitting regularly.
Good thing we live 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Can you just put it on a bus to come to Des Moines, and then I'll come grab it? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Honestly, that might work.
Perfect. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna probably talk about that a little bit, but that's something exciting coming up in Ben's year and a life-changing thing. So
yeah, 2023 is big this year.
So there may be some episodes where it's just me or me and a guest, or me, Ben, and a baby. We'll see how that goes.
Or just you and the baby.
Or just me and the baby. Because Ben is napping or something. I don't know. Anyway, back from the break, I guess, from the garbage truck being extremely loud. So Ben, you hear that?
No.
Dang. I'm hearing it through my headphones, which is coming through my mic. Anyway, okay. So back from the...
Do you see it in Audition? Like, do you see the waveforms going up?
I did a little bit, but it's whatever. All right, so back from the break. Ben, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you have planned business-wise for the year of 2023?
Business. Okay.
Okay.
All right, business. Okay, first and foremost, I'm still, and I think you're better under control, but my backlog is still atrocious, and it's like one of my main, like it consumes like 90% of what I think at every moment. I wake up and I'm like, that's like one of the first thoughts, and I cannot wait till the day where I'm not, like that's not a thought. That like I can wake up and think about something other than that. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes I feel like couples think that we forget about them, but no, like that's literally what I think about all the time.
Yep.
And trying to do other things like, hey, let's do this podcast. It's just hard to be like I'm excited to do this podcast, but on the other hand, I'm like, should I be doing all this other stuff when realistically, yes, I can make personal time to do stuff like this. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't even though like it's part of the thing, like, yeah, I'm probably going to have to work later tonight, to try to get through my backlog and stuff. Like, I'm just hoping that's one of my goals. By the end of 2023, I want to have a way better grasp of my backlog. Yes, I'm still going to have films to edit at the end of 2023, but I'm hoping it's much more reasonable than what it was at the end of 2022.
Yeah, just not as crazy, not as high in volume of edits to do. But
yeah, and COVID is just like, it's hard to even explain why, other than like COVID. Like COVID is the reschedule amounts. Mm-hmm. Just, I had 8 reschedules, and they all were at the very end of the year around weddings that were already there. So I just essentially jam-packed 8 weddings into the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And then that just made it impossible to get things edited because of doubleheader after doubleheader after doubleheader.
Yeah, and I think you got to imagine most couples too. Like, yes, I know they want to see their film and totally get it. Like, we get it if you're frustrated even a little bit or just anxious to see it. But like, we can't sit 24 hours a day and get work done. Like if we did that, we'd probably get caught up pretty fast, but like that's just not the case. We're human. We have lives outside of work. You have a child on the way. You need to be there for your wife, different things like that. And I think most couples do understand that, but I also don't think couples really understand what it takes to edit a whole film. But I think that's a great goal. I'm also in the same boat. I would love to have a much better grasp, if no backlog, by 2024. We'll see if that happens, but who knows? Anyway.
So backlog, that's like my main goal. And I know it's going to be hard because I'm going to have this kid here. But weirdly, I think because of this new structure and less time, I feel like when I had a full-time job outside of weddings, I feel like I was more forced to use the little time to edit. So I'm thinking, like, weirdly, I have this thought that I might actually become more productive than when I had this open schedule, if that makes sense. I think it'll just... What's that?
I was just going to say, I would guess probably not the first month.
Yeah, I think the first 6 months is going to be tricky. But I think knowing that, like, okay, after the first 6 months, I have these things, I have to be way more strict. Like, I am going to have to anticipate. If I have a babysitter for the day, I'm going to be like, I have to utilize this because once that babysitter's gone, nothing's getting done. Mm-hmm. Like, so I think I'm going to be like, right now, I can kind of be like, oh, maybe the first 2 hours of the day or half of the day I don't work and I can just put in more work later. I can't think like that anymore.
Right. Yeah. I think I totally see where you're coming from too. And like when I had a full-time job and doing this as well, like it was much more like, okay, you have 2 hours to do this. Like you're going to work hard that 2 hours rather than it's like, oh man, I have a full 8 to 10 hour day. I can edit later if I need to or whatever. So I could see it making you more productive as well. I could also see it making you pretty tired.
Yeah.
at least at first.
I'm gonna be very tired, and I think I'm gonna have to figure out a good sleep routine, like actually going to bed at times, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back and forth. Like I'll say one business goal, and you say one business goal.
Okay. So, I mean, it's kind of along with what we were just talking about. For a business goal for me, I just want to get a stronger routine. That's something I've struggled with all year is I wake up and I have a completely different routine and schedule than I did the day before. I think that has a little bit to do with my personality, maybe. Just I enjoy different things, new things, and I think that's just kind of a subconscious thing. If I'm doing something different the next day, I'll be more mentally and fulfilled, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I want to get a strict routine where I'm like, all right, I'm up at 7, I'm working out at 7:30, I'm home by 8:30 or whatever. Like, I don't know exactly the timing and everything, and then the first 2 hours of my workday, I'm doing admin stuff, emails, blah, blah, blah. The next X amount of hours are editing and, just very strict on like trying to, all right, this time is when I'm doing this, period. I'm just not that way. I've tried to be that way and it goes up and down and sometimes it works, but that's probably my biggest one this year. And I think that will help me kind of get out of this backlog as well, even though it's not quite the backlog that you exactly have, but not that we need to compare backlogs.
I think the creative process is so hard to work around. It's kind of like we have to work around its schedule. We can't make it work around our schedule.
Right. And what I've like told people too is like, you can't just be like, all right, it's 9 a.m. I'm going to be creative. Just snap the finger, flip the switch, and you're going to be creative. Like, and I know we've talked about it on here before, but that's not it. That's not how it works. You have to find that creativity through motivation, through inspiration, through other things you see, or through an idea that you have. It's a lot harder to just sit down and be like, boom, I'm going to do this. When you're crafting these types of films, right? It's not the same thing every time. Like in maybe a 9-to-5 job, in my old 9-to-5 job as a marketing coordinator, I'd have the same exact thing that I needed to do each and every day. So yeah, that was so easy to sit down and just do that because it was the same thing. It was very repetitive. I could almost do it subconsciously and like my mind be somewhere else. But when we're doing these films, it's like there's a lot that goes into it. And you can't just sit down and do it. You got to have some sort of idea or inspiration. So,
and I think I read somewhere that you have to try to figure out when your brain is in it. Like there, I feel like most days there's like a window of time where your brain is the most creative or most open to being creative. For me, I honestly think the evenings, weirdly, are more creative. But I might have to try to either figure out how to rotate that. I think that requires me changing my routine. Like I need to go to bed early so that creativity happens earlier in the day. Maybe exercising every morning so that, I don't know, there's something about that time between 6 p.m. and like 9-10 p.m. where I feel like I'm optimal creative.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think I kind of agree with that too. I don't know, probably because my best guess would be it's like, all right, we just went through basically an entire day. So we have all these thoughts, these ideas. We've seen inspiration. We've seen this other stuff. And then it's like, okay, cool. I have all that down. Now let's work on this. But,
yeah, there's less distractions and stuff like
it's
garbage trucks and stuff.
Yeah, that damn garbage truck. It's gone now. But yeah, I think it's just creativity and working creatively. I think it's more complex than people think. I think we could do an entire podcast episode about
it's
this
really
alone.
Interesting.
And I think that would actually be kind of a cool topic to talk about. But anyway, so your next big goal.
Another business goal of mine is I want to have, so on my website, I have mentorships and stuff like that. And part of this requires me to get better control of my backlog so I have more time to do this stuff. But I just want to have a better structure for doing this stuff. I've had a couple people reach out to me, I think 3 or 4 people in the last 2 months who want to just set up mentorships and stuff, and I just haven't had time to like get all that stuff figured out because of this backlog. But I want to create a better structure. Like maybe that means like a PDF, just a nice clean handout. So it's a quicker process. I feel like educating someone takes a lot of time, but I want to make sure it's worth it to the people that are interested in doing it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with education, like I want people to do it and then not walk away and be like, I regret that.
You want them to walk away with some type of value that they can implement into their business or whatever their endeavor is, and essentially make it better.
Yeah, because I think that's even for you probably too, a long-term goal. It's super exciting to show someone what you know and then see them go from like one level and just elevate it and be like, man, I can't believe I helped them like get that much better.
Yeah, that's actually...
It's super fulfilling to know like, man, I guess I do know some stuff.
Yeah, that's a good feeling to chase. Actually, Tim, so I helped Tim do the edit, and he did a lot of it, but obviously I helped him, and I helped him shoot the wedding and all that stuff. And he sent the video to the couple, and he like sent me just 1,000 exclamation points and then in quotes what the couple said, and he was just so excited about it. He's like, dude, I need to chase this feeling, this is so incredible. I was just like, oh my gosh, I love that so much. So
that's really cool.
I totally get where you're coming from. I mean, that's similar. I mean, yeah, I was doing weddings before we met, but you helped me elevate my business to what it is today, because I had no type of community or anything. I was just doing it because someone asked me to, and then
I think we're at a point now though where we elevate each other, which I think we need to continue to do. We need to continue to be like hard on each other, not hard on each other, but like give honest feedback and like figure out ways to just continue to improve.
No, that's totally fair too. I'm trying to think how would we do that? How would we implement something like that? So that's not a goal we have on our list, but that would be a good goal. How is that? Like a checklist? So you send me a film or I send you a film and we have this checklist. Kind of like How to Film Weddings does it.
We could just have these like routinely like film reviews with each other. Well, not with each other, but like maybe once a month we're like, hey, can you sit down and do a film, and we like record ourselves going through the film and telling our thoughts.
And we almost have like a score sheet or something on like different categories.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like I was saying, kind of like How to Film Weddings does it. They do those film reviews and they score it at the end based on all this other stuff. I think that'd be really cool and pretty beneficial. But
one thing too that I've heard is you always want to. So I think we need to also find people that are better than us, connect with them, and be like, hey, could we get your thoughts on this? Or like figure out ways to learn from them. I've been thinking about doing some there's the Bottle Brush Films mentorship. I've thought about doing the video call with them, or Jay and Mac Films. So I've been thinking about ways to invest in education that I think I would benefit from.
Yeah, that Bottle Brush one would be really cool, and the Jay and Mac one. Then Travis and Joni did a mentorship with Jay and Mac, didn't they?
Yeah, and I can see Travis. Shout out Travis.
Travis. Shout out. Second one.
And I can see, like, I remember when they posted a video from their mentorship, and I was like, dang, that's so cool. And I can see how their editing style, like the things they've learned, gets implemented into their thing, but it also has their own style, and like you can tell that it has like this touch of like Jay and Mac, but it's also like you can see that's kind of where they get some of their inspiration. But you can also see how they just continue to improve.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out.
So I think
Travis and Joni.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, they're my favorite Iowa filmmaker. For anybody that wants to know, filmmakers.
Everyone's gonna come for you now. All this.
Yeah, Travis, I saw you guys shot at. I saw you guys shot at Barn at Fairview Acres. I hope they don't end up liking you more than they like us. I texted them after I found out you worked there, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to fall in love with these people. Please don't forget about us.
Good.
No,
Okay.
I hope they get you guys down there more because I think they are an incredible venue, and I think they're kind of a hidden gem right now. And I have a couple weddings there this next year that I'm excited about, but I always love going down there. Dan and Christy, they're incredible. Reed connected with them instantly the one time you were down there with me.
Yeah, they're a good.
There's not very many. I mean, I love Little Lights and stuff, but I remember walking in every time I've been there. You walk in and they're like, "Can we get you guys anything? Energy drink, anything? We got a bunch."
We literally walked in and the first thing is like, "Do you need an energy drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, can we get a Red Bull?" They're like, "Absolutely." I was like,
And they
"All
just
right,
had
that's the day."
all through the day they were asking if we needed anything, and I felt like we were like it was an incredible experience, and I hope I get more down there.
Yeah, I think Barn at Fairview and then Little Lights and even the Harmac too. I think they're all very similar and like. Yes, their couples experience is incredible, but I think they also put a focus on their vendors experience as well, which is just you don't even think about that and how much you appreciate that until you're there. But yeah, that was a fun wedding. I haven't shot like my own wedding down there yet. I just helped Ben with one, but I was able to connect fairly quickly and drop some jokes. That's usually what I do to connect with people. So, but absolutely. Shout out Travis, Joni, and the Barn at Fairview Acres team.
What other business goals do you have?
So I want to do a little bit of a soft rebrand and maybe even a new website this year. Looking at my stuff, like obviously I'm continuing to get better and elevate and kind of find myself a little bit and what I like about shooting weddings and editing weddings. And I don't know if my website really expresses that correctly or my brand really expresses that how I want it to. So I'm a type 7 Enneagram and I'm just, especially on a wedding day, I'm fairly outgoing. I'm goofy. I'm joking around. I'm just like, the most important thing for me is for my couples and everyone around to have fun and also for me to have fun. And I just want to be able to express that a little better through my brand and through my website. So it'll probably be a lot more of me showing my face, a lot more on Instagram or TikTok and stuff. And because I don't think I do a very great job of that quite right now. So yeah, I don't really know what it'll look like. It's still very much in the brainstorming stages, but just a little bit of a soft rebrand launch and website thing just to kind of really dial in me, who I am and what my business is about rather than just right now. I feel like my website is just like, yo, here, check out my things, check out my wedding videos. And if you like it, contact me. I want it to be more of an experience. I want it to be like, yo, this is Reed. This is who's shooting my wedding. I want you to know who I am when, you're going through that website experience, that brand experience. So that's in the works. That's a goal to kind of work on throughout the entire year. But
I'm going to write that goal right down. I've been wanting to make an about me video. Like I have like a picture and some things listed, but I think an about me video would be real good.
Yeah, well, because just in this industry too, it's so important, and I don't even know if our couples understand that. It's so important for them to know who we are. Like, yeah, it's so important that we know who they are. Obviously, that's the most important. But for them to get to know us on a personal level and really know who we are rather than just a wedding vendor, that goes a long way. And I think the first way to do that is through your social media presence and through your website, because those are the first places that they're going to find you unless they see you actually on like a wedding day, if they were a guest or a bridesmaid or anything like that. But yeah.
No, that's a really good goal. I I think I want to do that as well. But I think right now my main concern, this backlog, I think just consumes so much that goal is like a little bit ambitious for me.
Yeah, well, I also think it can just be small stuff. So like I made that the Reed Shepherd Films Christmas Party special or whatever. I'm like,
yeah, I hope to see
like
more of that.
that's me. Like that's who I am. Yes, that took a little work to make, but like it was just a simple Instagram reel. Like it wasn't anything extravagant. But like now people can go to my Instagram.
You need to lean into that and how like we don't have coworkers and like leaning into how lonely it is and like you have yourself to connect with.
Believe it or not, though, I've gotten comments and messages like, "Hey, can I get an invite to your Christmas party next year?"
That's funny. That is funny.
But yeah, just simple things like that. Like that's who I am. I'm goofy, weird.
The Creative Crunch Christmas Party.
See that would be a good one.
For the people that don't have it like coworkers.
Yeah,
He doesn't even have to be in the wedding industry. The self-employed.
Wait a minute. You tie that with the Creative Crunch Awards that we've played around with that idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Oh, there's another goal. Eventually, we'd love to do like a little Creative Crunch Awards. It doesn't have to be the wedding industry, but it would probably end up being the wedding industry. But that's a big brainstorming thing as of right now as well. But we tie that with the Creative Crunch self-employed Christmas party.
Yeah, that would be good. Okay, so business goals. This ties in with the routine and stuff, but I think just getting a better understanding of how much time I'm spending editing and like doing other tasks for my business so I can kind of better understand how much I'm making hourly for that kind of stuff. Which we've both been using Hubstaff, which is kind of interesting to see where all of our time goes.
Yeah,
kind of motivating as well.
Hubstaff is just an app that you can get on your computer that kind of tracks your time, and you can organize it by like projects and stuff. So if I'm working, like right now I'm working on Alex and Brendan's teaser, I have a Hubstaff thing for it where sorry, something just popped up. I have a Hubstaff project for it. So when I'm working on that project, it's tracking my time. It's tracking where I'm at, websites or Premiere or anything like that. And it is very motivating. It's kind of like, man, I want to get more hours in. Like I want to hit this specific hour mark this day or whatever. You good over there, bud?
I'm good.
Oh, I guess it's my turn, huh? For going back and forth. So another goal for me, it's slowly been happening, but not as much as I would like it to, just to get more out of state weddings. And I mean, this hasn't happened for me yet, but out of country weddings, like obviously just New Year's Eve, I was in Chicago. I've had weddings in Minnesota and, like California before and all this stuff. And I really enjoy that. I love experiencing things, which is actually one of my personal goals that we'll talk about, but I would just love to get a little bit more outside of Iowa and just experience the wedding industry in other places. So it happens a little bit, but I mean, Ben's been killing it. I don't know if he has a single Iowa wedding next year, but
I do. I have quite a few.
I would love to kind of get to that point where I'm getting to travel to new places and experiencing new things, new cultures, whatever. It's a very broad goal, and I'm not exactly sure how to get there quite yet, besides just hoping and praying I go viral on TikTok or something. But yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how. I mean, yeah, maybe TikTok has helped me quite a bit with it, but I feel like I'm just now getting to the point where people are willing to pay the travel for me to come to their wedding. And I feel like it was almost just like you wake up one morning and it happens.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain what I did differently, but I think just I don't know.
I think you're just really good at like showing up and posting things that
I think,
make people
yeah, like
intrigued.
I think it comes back to showing you build trust on your like social media. You show your face. You be consistent with like posting, which I need to get back to. I've kind of fallen off as I've been editing. But yeah, showing different aspects, showing your passion for it.
Yeah,
builds
so
trust.
if any of our listeners out there have any tips for that too, I would gladly take that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Another goal I have for business is just I'd love to pass. So right now I book weddings at about $7,500, which is still wild to me. But I mean, as demand comes in, you raise your prices, because otherwise you book up way too fast, and you have to have the right balance. So like right now I have like 3 2024 weddings, so I'm like, do I need to raise my prices? Because as soon as I start posting 2023 weddings, I'm going to start getting more inquiries. And so my goal is to hopefully pass 8,500 for bookings, so I can book less but still make enough that I'm not like losing my yearly income. Like I'm not losing, like I still want to, it's always a goal to pass what you did the previous year.
Right.
And with having a kid, I want to be home a little bit more. I'd love to get down to that point where I'm doing like 10 weddings. And they're just like, I can really put like as much attention as possible on each wedding. I can focus a lot more on the pre-wedding process, stuff like that.
I mean, I'm kind of right there with you too. You said it before we started recording that I'm sure a lot of people have heard, but like, get paid more but work less. That's the dream of, being a business owner is, not saying you're getting paid more to do like less quality work, but you're getting paid more to do the very high quality work that you can do. And I think that's a great goal for every business owner to really have. It's just like, how can I, how can I make more than the last year? Because obviously you want to be able to live and do things and fun things, and not that money is the only reason we're doing this, but it is nice and it helps put food on the table, all that good stuff. You're having a baby, like you said.
Yep.
But also just to work less, which also means putting, like you said, putting more time into each of your films, to each of your couples, really making it an experience, but also getting to have your own experiences with that too, living your life, going on trips, doing fun things, not being bogged down by a backlog, by all these edits. So yeah, that's a great goal, and I share that goal with you. Although I'm only charging $6,000 right now, so I think it'd be cool to hit 775, hit where you're at the beginning of this year. But yeah.
Well, cool.
Do we?
I think those are my main business goals. I think the
Yeah.
main one for sure is backlog under control, but then the other ones are just like sub goals.
I feel that. All right, so let's chat a little bit about some personal goals. I mean, we don't have to go too much into that. I know we're an hour in, but those are always kind of fun to talk about. And sometimes those personal goals lead to running a better business too. But I can start with mine, wherever mine is. I think we have pretty similar personal goals. I'd love to start reading more, mainly because my name is Reed and I can't tell you the last time I've read a book. But I just think there's a lot of things that come from reading that you can't get from watching a video or reading an article online. I think there's just a lot of knowledge packed in these guys, and a lot of cool like stories and stuff that I used to really enjoy reading. So I think it'd be fun to kind of try to read maybe like a book a month. 2 books a month would be a bit ambitious for me, just because it's not my thing.
Might be easier if you get into a routine. Like,
Yeah, like wake up, read, go to the gym.
See,
I don't know, but
yeah, it's tricky. So what I've been doing is I actually take my Kindle. It's been a week since I've been to the gym, so I can't speak of this too much, but I've been taking my Kindle to the gym and reading while I'm like on the bike or on the elliptical. The Kindle, I love the Kindle. The downside is like there's something about having a book and like being like, okay, I only have this much further to read. Like you can physically see how much you've read. Where mine, it shows like a percentage, which is cool, but I can't comprehend how long that is. It's super nice though, because you can be like, you see a sentence and maybe there's like a word or something that doesn't make sense. You can just click on that word and it'll give you a definition of it. Or like explain what they're meaning when they say that. And then you can highlight it. It'll save it in this like notes thing. And then I can like move those notes to like a notes app or something if I want to. It'll show me all the highlighted points that I did for that book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to read as well. Someone reading will improve like a ton of things. Like your mental health.
Mental
your
health,
memory,
yeah.
Focus. I don't know. Just communicate how you communicate with people.
There's just, I don't know, there's something about it too. Like when you're actually reading something, I don't know what it is. It just feels good. It like almost releases dopamine almost or something.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
I don't know
though.
if that's true, but
When I'm reading, I can get to a page where it just like makes me fall asleep. I don't know why.
Well, that's a good goal too. Is like I suck about being on my phone right before bed. It would be cool to shut the phone off like an hour before bed and read for an hour. Because one, it makes me tired too when I'm reading. And I think it would just lead to even better sleep. I have no idea. I'm just spitting all these facts out that I think make sense in my head, but might not actually. So I apologize if I'm wrong to any listeners out there, but. Yeah. What about you? I know you want to read more too, but what's your next one?
Well, one of them is just learn to be a good dad. Learn what the dad life entails. I want to improve my overall health. Like right now I'm drinking Bang energy drink. This is not very healthy. Like I want to improve that kind of stuff. Like get a better routine. Maybe go to make a better routine for the gym, which it's probably going to be hard with having a kid. But, like, I don't know, just taking care of my body more. I think the one thing that I've thought about more than anything is just, like, what bad qualities am I going to teach my kid? And how I can, like, avoid those at all costs. So just paying attention to those and just trying to better myself. But I think for me is finding a hobby outside of videography, maybe outside of dad. I mean, I can be a dad and that could maybe be a hobby, but like, I don't want that to.
That's a full-time job. That's not a hobby.
Yeah. So I'd love to find it.
You can enjoy doing it, but I wouldn't call it a hobby. Like you have to do that.
Yeah. I'd just love to find an interest. That's like when people ask me, what do you like to do outside of weddings? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like I love weddings, I love filming, and I love videography. But I don't know if I have like a hobby outside of that kind of stuff. Maybe drones, but...
You're very techie. I feel like that's a hobby. Like you have...
Yeah.
Not even just cameras and stuff. You're just very... technologically savvy. Is that how you would say that? But no, I get that. I mean, my hobbies include like, well, one of them's super expensive, playing golf. You can kind of see my golf clubs there. That's an expensive hobby, and it's an expensive one to be bad at, which I am. And then kind of, I like to skateboard and do things outside. It's kind of hard to go on hikes in Iowa, but that's something that I enjoy, just going on walks. But I don't know if I really have like super dialed in hobbies that I love to do, but
yeah. I think another one for me is just documenting my personal life more. Like I'm so used to documenting everyone else's life, and then I get home and I don't think, to document my own. Like, yeah, I'll take pictures and stuff, but I'd love to get more like the way I document weddings. I'd love to somehow apply that to my own life, show myself more, so that when my kids are old enough and can look back at, I mean, just this last Christmas, I was showing my dad some old videos, old VHS videos that I had digitized, and just it was really cool to watch him see it and like point out all these people he knew. And it's just cool to look back at some of that old footage and see like where your parents came from and who they were when they were my age. And so I want my kids to be able to look back at that kind of stuff. And for my own self, someone says that documenting your life video is one of the easiest ways to remember things. Like as the years go by, my wedding becomes more and more faded, like the things that happened at my wedding and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's one of my goals, is just document myself. There's this app I have that's called 1 Second Every Day. You take a 1 second video, and then at the end of whenever you decide to end it, it will create this video of all the 1 seconds that you did. Which I've done in the past, but it's been like 5 years since I made one.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah. So let me take a 1 second video right here. So right here we're on the podcast. That was more than a second. I probably can't even get right here we're on the podcast.
Right. No, that's a good one. Yeah, documenting that. I want to be better about that too. I suck at that, and I try to be good, but I'm not. Just hanging out with friends, family, whatever, just doing things and stuff you want to remember for a while. And no offense to my friends. I'm probably far away from the mic. No offense to like my friends besides you. But I don't think any of them are really good at it either. Like I'm always the one to pull out the phone and take a photo or a video of what we're doing. So it'd be nice to step up that game a little bit as well. But yeah, for me, another one was I also want to take a little bit better care of my physical and mental health. At the beginning of last year, I had some heart issues that ended up putting me in the ER and seeing a cardiologist about 5-6 times and doing a bunch of tests and medications and all this stuff. And I won't go too far into what happened, but I think it scared me a little bit more than I let myself believe and I let others believe. And I did kind of do a little bit of a lifestyle change after that. I tried to eat a little healthier. I tried to hop back in the gym or do more things active, but I think I just kind of half-assed it. I was like, you know what? I mean, I'll try and see what happens. And yes, I feel better. I still have some issues here and there. But I think this year really like focus on it because just thinking back, like, oh my gosh, last year, I mean, having heart problems at 25 years old was interesting and weird. And anytime I'd walk into the cardiologist, I'd be the youngest guy there by like 50 years. So yeah, just taking a little more focus on eating cleaner and being in the gym and just being active and overall just healthier. Because I think subconsciously I am still a little worried about maybe heart problems popping back up.
I mean, yeah, speaking of that, did you see that Monday Night Football thing? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what made me think of it too, which is wild though, because like that man is in the shape of his life and it still happens. So obviously health and stuff doesn't always play a part of that. But
yeah, something I have to watch out for is high blood pressure because both my dad and grandpa have it. So yeah. I know it's coming in my future. I mean, he wasn't diagnosed until he was like 50, but like I need to keep an eye on that too. Yeah. So,
but yeah, just something to think about. Just be more cautious, be more cautious of what I'm eating and doing and all that stuff. Just letting instead of subconsciously being worried about it, being actually worried about it and making the changes that I need to make. So, yeah, that's another goal, kind of physical, mental thing and heart health. But yeah.
Yeah, those are some good goals. Did I have any other ones?
I don't think so.
Personal. I think the main one that we both need is routine. I think if we could get a routine, I think everything would just fall into place.
I truly do too.
Like,
a good start is doing this podcast 3 times a month, I think, or more.
Actually,
you know? I think that's a really good start. Just dedicating that time per week or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. We've toyed with this idea before, but I think a goal we're gonna try to start taking small steps into the right direction this year. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but we've toyed with the idea of kind of combining our businesses. We enjoy working to each other. We enjoy working with each other. We have very similar styles. We have all like the same equipment, all this stuff. None of that really matters, but we just realized we have a lot of fun when we work together, and we have fun when we don't work together too. Like, don't think that way. But I think this year would be a good year to kind of start thinking logistically about it, how it would work, all that stuff, and taking steps in that direction. But and again, not saying that 2023 is the year that we combine, because it probably won't be, just because we're already pretty booked out. But just kind of figuring out what that would look like in the future if that ends up happening. But I think that'd be pretty fun.
I think our biggest hurdles with that is we would probably both have to take a pay cut. Figuring out if we want to ever do weddings like separately, but still under the same name. We just have to hire like second shooters, which we currently do. Like, we both have second shooters outside of each other. We just know we like working with each other. But yeah, those are just a couple.
The biggest one would definitely be just the income, and not saying that if we combine it would just only be weddings. Like, we might open it up to some other things. I know we've talked about some education stuff before, and we've done other corporate kind of stuff, and maybe it would just kind of turn into a
I think we both would love to create, like, I think we both like the storytelling part, and I personally would love, like, I think a 5-year goal is like telling a story that's not wedding, like making a mini documentary about another story. Like, heck, I mean, like my grandpa, when he was a missionary, he was kidnapped for like 3 months. And I'm like, man, I feel like that needs to be told. That story needs to be told. So I think stories outside of just weddings is something I would love to do.
That'd be cool.
But that's
so
like,
if you have a story that you want documented in a documentary type style, let us know. We don't have much experience in the documentary filmmaking era, but got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But yeah, we've toyed around with that idea since probably 2021 even.
Yeah.
But obviously COVID and stuff, it was just tough, and logistically with money and all that stuff. So this year we'll try to figure it out. I think that's the goal, is to figure out if it's doable, which I think it is. We just have to do a lot of logistical things, planning, blah, 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 all the boring stuff. But all right. Well, we are an hour 20 in almost, maybe not, because we'll probably cut out a lot of the beginning. So totally off on my part. But how about, do we want to do the same thing this year? What's inspired you recently?
Yeah, I think it's a good continuation.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. So why don't and I am excited to hear this. What has inspired you recently, at least since the last podcast? It's gonna get harder now that we're gonna be more consistent, that we're gonna have less time to like be like, oh, this inspired me, or this inspired me.
That's so true. Man, this isn't that weird, but have you heard of ChatGPT?
No.
Oh my gosh, how have you not heard of it? We were talking about it yesterday in Mastermind. And it is wild. Like, I feel like I want to learn how to utilize it more to my advantage. But it's essentially an AI text generator. and you can use it for so many different things. What I've used it probably for the most is I'll like write something up. I'll like take all of that thing that I wrote up and I'll put it in ChatGPT and I'll be like, make this sound more professional, or make this have a sadder tone to it, or make this more funny. And then it'll rewrite everything to sound so much better, and it's incredible.
Really?
Or you can be like, give me a caption for this couple that was very goofy all day and their personalities were very fun. And it'll like give you this very, like, it'll be like, you can write, give me 5 sentences about a couple that is very goofy, and it'll create this auto-generated caption for you. 5 sentences long. It's endless. You can be like, give me 10 tips for lighting a reception, and it'll create 10 bullet point tips for you.
That's actually really cool. Yeah,
I feel like the questions are endless, and I want to learn how to utilize that to my advantage.
Does it cost money, I'm assuming?
No, it's free.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to start using
Go try
it
it like today.
I'll try it right after this.
I'm gonna create the caption for this podcast.
With it?
With it.
All right. I'm curious.
Okay.
You should record yourself doing it so we can make like an Instagram reel or something.
It'd be boring. You could do it for your Flash thing that you're gonna make.
Oh, like do the yeah, I could. All right, cool.
You should mess with it. It's pretty insane what you can do with it. Like, I've used it where I've highlighted, like the How to Film Weddings podcast. I've highlighted all of the text, and I've been like, give me a 10-point summary about what was talked about on this podcast, and it'll give you a 10 bullet point thing to show you what was talked about.
That's actually really insane. That's really cool. AI, man, it's the way of the future, I think. Very, very soon.
I think there's, and I think there's some industries that are worried it's gonna get rid of their job.
Kick them out of business. Like copywriting, that's terrifying. Like copywriting is a whole industry in itself. And if you can just type in generally what you want and they can make it better, yikes.
That's actually, yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
For me, I talked about it a little bit, but like when I helped Tim kind of shoot and edit that wedding, and then where he sent it off when it was all done, and he got a great compliment back from the couple, and he like texted me it and put it in quotes. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever! Like I want to chase this feeling." That was something so inspiring that. Sometimes when we're talking about these inspiring things, it's just like a little thing, but that was like, boom, that lit a fire up in me. I'm like, holy cow, that is sweet. That's super cool. And I don't know what that lit a fire under. I don't know if that was more of like an educational thing or if it's like hey, I need to get these videos done so I can get, those sort of responses and stuff. But it was just super cool to see him be very proud of what he made and what he did. And so yeah, that was very, very inspiring, very, very cool. But
yeah, it's really exciting.
Shout out Tim.
It's really exciting to see when you help somebody and then see them succeed.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it's snowing here a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is. Maybe not here. Huh. Okay. Well, again, thank you all for tuning in to the Creative Crunch podcast, the first one of the year. Maybe the first one you've ever heard. Who knows? Ben thinks I forgot to say this in the beginning, but I'm going to say it right now. So, welcome back to the Creative Crunch podcast at the end of it. So
yeah.
I don't know where to go with that. So thank you all for listening, watching, viewing, subscribing. I don't know. Does subscribing feel weird? That feels very YouTuber of me to say that. So I'm going to cut that out. But yeah, we appreciate you all. We're excited for this year. We're excited to be a little more consistent with this podcast. We're excited for Ben to be a dad. We're excited for a lot of stuff. So happy 2023. Let's go.
Big things happening this year.
Big things happening. Let's kick this year's ass in a good way. Yeah. Thumbnail?
Yeah, dog. Yeah. That's the thumbnail.
All right. That's a wrap. Peace out, everybody.
All right, peace.
Welcome back to the. Yep. Bye.